Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're cracking open the hive to get a look at one of the most fascinating societies on Earth, the honeybee colony. If you're just starting out in beekeeping, or even if you're just a little curious, this is your beginner's guide to how it all works.
You know, for literally centuries, humans have just been captivated by the bee's social structure. I mean, even ancient texts talk about the bee's divinely inspired genius for building homes and creating honey. It's always seemed like this perfect model of organization.
And really, that's the big question for any beekeeper, isn't it? How do tens of thousands of individual bees, we're talking up to 80,000 in one hive, manage to coordinate so perfectly that they act like a single living thing?
All right, so here's how we're going to break it down. We'll meet the three types of bees in the colony: the queen, the drone, and of course, the worker bee. Then we'll get into the secrets of what makes a colony healthy and how all these different parts come together to work as one.
Okay, first up, let's talk about the single most important individual in the entire colony, Her Majesty, the Queen.
You know, one of the first things you learn as a beekeeper is how to spot the queen, and thankfully she stands out. As you can see here, she's much larger than the other bees, with this long, elegant abdomen. You'll almost always see her surrounded by a little circle of attendant workers who are constantly feeding her and grooming her.
I mean, her entire body is a testament to her one and only job. That long abdomen, it's filled with massive ovaries. She doesn't have pollen baskets on her legs because she never has to collect food. And her stinger, it's only for one thing, fighting other queens. She is built for one purpose.
And what is that one purpose? Laying eggs. A ton of eggs. Get this, at the peak of the season, a good queen can lay up to 2,500 eggs in a single day. Think about that. That's more than her own body weight in eggs every single day. It's just incredible. So her life begins with something straight out of an action movie, a single, once-in-a-lifetime mating flight. She flies high up into the air, and she's chased by hundreds of drones. Only the fastest, strongest ones can reach her, which makes sure the colony has great genetics. After that, she goes back to the hive, and she'll never leave again.
So what's the big takeaway for you as a beekeeper? It's simple. Everything, and I mean everything, comes back to the queen. It's not just about the eggs she lays. She also releases these chemical signals called pheromones that hold the whole colony together. A good queen means a strong, productive, and calm hive.
All right, let's move on to the guys in the hive, the male bees, or as we call them, the drones. They have a very specific job, but it is absolutely essential. And you'll notice right away, drones look totally different from their sisters. They're bigger, kind of barrel-chested, and their heads are mostly just two giant eyes that meet at the top. And those eyes are for one thing, spotting a queen way up in the sky. They have no stinger, no way to gather food, and they literally can't even feed themselves. They are built for one thing and one thing only: flight.
Yeah, it really is that straightforward. Their entire reason for being is to just hang out in what are called drone congregation areas, waiting for a new queen to fly by so they can pass on their genes.
It's a pretty tough gig being a drone, let me tell you. If he does successfully mate with a queen, he dies right after. And if he doesn't, well, come fall, the worker bees decide he's just another mouth to feed, and they kick him out of the hive for good. It's a very short and often brutal life.
Okay, so if the queen is busy laying eggs and the drones are just waiting around to mate, who's doing all the actual work? That would be the vast majority of the colony, the heart and soul of the hive, the tireless worker bees.
Now this is what I find absolutely fascinating. A worker bee's job isn't static. It's all based on her age. As you can see, she basically graduates from one job to the next. She starts with indoor chores like cleaning and feeding the young, and eventually moves to the most dangerous job of all, flying outside the hive as a forager. Then, in her builder phase, she becomes this tiny living construction machine. She has these special glands on her belly that secrete tiny little flakes of wax. She then chews that wax and molds it into those perfect hexagonal cells that make up the honeycomb. It's a total architectural marvel. And here's the role we all picture when we think of a honeybee, the forager. She's perfectly designed for this job, with these special little baskets on her back legs. This is how she packs in pollen, the colony's main source of protein, and carries it back to the hive to feed everyone. This is why, for a beekeeper, there's almost nothing better than seeing a busy hive entrance, with thousands of bees flying in and out. It's the clearest sign you can get that you have a strong, healthy, and successful colony. Okay, so let's wrap this up by putting all the pieces together and seeing how these super specialized bees create one healthy, functioning hive.
This chart right here is a perfect cheat sheet for any new beekeeper.
It just lays it all out so clearly. You can see how each type of bee is perfectly adapted for its job, from their lifespan and main role to their unique bodies. Everything is optimized for the good of the whole colony.
And when you see them side by side like this, it just clicks, right? You've got the huge queen built to lay eggs, the compact, efficient worker built to do everything else, and the big, bulky drone with those giant eyes built for that one important flight. This all leads to a really important idea. A honeybee colony isn't just a big family. It's what scientists call a superorganism. The entire hive breathes, eats, makes decisions, and even reproduces, all as if it were a single, intelligent being.
And that really leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? Every single bee, whether it's the queen who lives for years or the drone whose life might only be a few weeks long, plays a part that is absolutely irreplaceable. It's an amazing reminder that the health of the entire system really does depend on every single individual doing their part.